Hi, everybody. Welcome once again to the Stevie B Show. As always, I'm Stevie B. Well, I'm great to see you once again, and I have two guests today. They are actually good friends of mine. They're actually, believe it or not, they're stand-up comics in the city of Boston. I want you to say hello to Ricky Antonellis
Hi, Steve.
and Christian Trotta. Nice to see you guys.
Thanks for having us,
Yeah,
Steven.
no problem. It's good to see you, Rick.
It's good to see
Now,
you, Steve.
good to see you. Now, interesting though, Ricky and I, we went to high school together. Believe it or not, we graduated the same year.
Long time ago.
Won't say what class. I mean, that's how far back we go. But Ricky, it's so good to see you again. It's been a long time. But now you two are stand-up comics, and you how long have you been doing stand-up comedy?
We are, Christian and I are both stand-up comics. I've been in it for around 4 years. Christian, I'm going to say about five. He's
Five, yeah.
about a year before me. And Christian would be able to tell you the same sort of story. We began doing stand-up comedy in Boston through a friend of ours. He's an old Vegas comedian guy that goes by the name of Vinny Favorito, and he put Christian up on stage. And after I begged him to let me get up on stage and try some of my stuff, he allowed me to do 5 minutes and host one of his shows, and it just snowballed from there.
Wow. Now, what was your first? I was gonna ask. What was your first time on stage like? What was it like?
So my first time on stage, I think that I was better prepared to face the audience than my material was. Let's say I stood up better against the audience than my material did. It's kind of tricky when everything is live and it's just you, nude and crude up against 30 or 40 people.
Wow. Now, who were your comedic influences growing up?
So growing up, I have to say that my original comedic influences were definitely Red Fox.
Oh.
I loved Eddie Murphy stand-up when I was a kid, and I absolutely adored Don Rickles' style of, if you want to call it insult comedy.
Yeah. Christian, what about you? What were your comedy heroes growing up?
My comedy heroes, I would say, I think it started when I was a little kid. My family members, a lot of them were comedic people.
Mm-hmm.
But to name real comedians, I would say Eddie Murphy's one of them, probably one of the greatest of all time. I liked the Saturday Night Live guys growing up. I always wanted to be on that show in the 90s with Farley and Sandler and those guys.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say probably my favorite comedian, I would say it's a toss-up between Dave Chappelle, because what he's been through and how he's changed his whole way of doing his comedy.
Mm-hmm.
And I like Don Rickles too. But Don Rickles sometimes can be very offensive to some people, so we can't.
Yeah. When did you just think that you could make it as a stand-up comic?
Well, funny story. He spoke about Vinny Favorito. It was during the pandemic. So my whole life I've been doing impressions. I'm an impersonator. I do Donald Trump, Barack Obama, Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, guys like that. People you know.
Mm-hmm.
We were just hanging out, during the pandemic. Nothing going on. We're drinking some beers. And my buddy would nudge me. He'd be like, "Well, how would Schwarzenegger say this?" And for a good 15 minutes, and Vinny was there. I could see him eyeing me, and he goes to me. He goes, "Hey, would you ever think about doing comedy?" And the first thing I said to him, I was like, "I'm funny here, but if you put a light on me and I have to be funny, it's a different story."
Mm-hmm.
And I started doing 5 minutes with him, and then I slowly built up my material and whatnot, and here we are today.
No, I have to ask you, what makes the Boston comedy scene different from other cities?
What makes it different? For me, I think it's changed a lot. I think back in the 80s, it was really hot up until the late 80s, early 90s. Then it just kind of died off a little bit. The newer generation, I noticed, there's a lot of funny kids out there, but they don't do our style in the sense, because we've been influenced by the older guys, pushing the envelope as much as we can. Because that's what comedy's all about, is making something uncomfortable funny where we can all laugh about. But in certain instances, I think it's changed, so people are a little bit more worried about what they say before they say it, because they're worried about what the audience is going to think.
Mm-hmm.
Which, in my case, or Ricky's case, I don't know if I'm speaking for you, but I don't think we really care.
Where do you get your material from? Family or anything like that? Ricky, you want to answer that?
It's definitely the light observations that I make every day, things that might happen to me during the day. And I'm going to pick up where Christian left off. And it's fun to talk about things that can be uncomfortable or annoying, those just minor perturbances in life that we can kind of turn around and reverse and make funny. Definitely things I see on the day-to-day.
How much of your personal life is based on real life? How much is your act based on real life?
Oh, I would say a good 75% of the things that I say on stage, or even more than that, come from personal experiences that obviously I've altered and, embellished a little bit to, get a laugh out of it. But a lot of it does come from personal experience. And I think that Christian would agree with me. Some of the guys that have been working in this industry that we were really, really fortunate to work with, like Vinny Favorito, like Frank Santarelli, Joey Carroll, a Cambridge guy, was a great guy, veterans, true veterans. These guys always told us, you speak from your heart, speak from your experiences, and then obviously you craft those words in a way so that it can come out sounding funny.
Yeah. Wow. Now, I got to ask this question. Do family and friends get nervous if you talk about them in your act?
Steven, you know my family.
Oh, I do.
Yeah, you know my family.
Yeah,
you know my family.
Your sister is best friends with my sister.
It's funny you say that because my brother wouldn't come to comedy shows for the longest time because he thought I was, was going to say something to make him feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, but so they don't come to see the show or anything like that? Or?
He's coming more lately now because he's realized I don't really do a lot of crowd work because I do my act, and he actually enjoys it, which is good for me. It's
what's harder, like writing new material or performing it?
I think for me, if I have new material, is the actual aspect of trying it out is the worrisome because you don't know if you're going to get the laugh or not, but you have to try it out regardless. Mm-hmm. Vinny would always tell us, try the joke 3 times in different rooms, and if it doesn't work, get rid of it, work on something else. So I've taken that strategy. I don't know about for Rick, but
that was his golden rule, and you know what? It gets shifted and worked around to fit my needs or Christian's needs, but he would always say, give it a try. You can try it on your friends, but get it up on stage. You need stage time. You need a mic in front of you. Yeah. Go and give it a try. And if you don't see it working after 3 times, well, either rehone it or maybe put it to the side.
Have you ever written a joke you thought would kill, but it bombed?
I wrote 3 of them today. And I wrote 3 of them today that I think are going to absolutely kill. And no, but all kidding aside, Stephen, it happens all the time. It happens all the time. You think there's one that's going to be a real winner, but it gets feeble laughs.
Wow. So listen, we're going to show a video clip of your stand-up act right now. Can you set it up for us?
Yeah, so I know that's definitely the clip where I speak about something that's kind of uncomfortable. It was when I had to go and get my colonoscopy. Most of us men after the age of 45.
Yeah.
And I was lucky enough to go for to get the Cologuard. My physician told me that I could take the Cologuard test, and I also went up to do the prostate exam. And we speak about it was basically a group project from below the belt.
I get it. So this is the clip we're going to show. So. Enjoy this clip. It's a bit risque, but it's okay. Hope you enjoy it. So this is Ricky Antonellis and his stand-up comedy.
Seal it back up and mail it to your doctor. This way they can analyze the stool. And I was really grateful to him for that because there was no way I was going back there with the light and the camera and hosting an anal live stream. No way. I'm not that type of entertainer. But I can only hope that at that laboratory, whoever it is that's opening those packages is doing it at a safe distance. Maybe with some of them long grill tongs, I don't know. Can you picture the poor PhD fresh out of medical school kids ripping those packages open and all should have gone into dermatology. Oh yeah, things do change. It was even worse with the whole prostate exam. They wanted a urine sample for me. I mean, have any of you guys seen the openings on those bedside urinals in the hospital? They're like this. I didn't know they made them in magnums. No, seriously, I felt like I brought a Capri Sun straw to the sword fight,
So, Steve, that clip was from a show that both Christian and I performed at. We opened for Frank Santarelli.
Is he the R-rated hypnotist?
No, that's Frank Santos.
Oh, Frank Santos.
Frank Santarelli was on, I think he was on like 13 episodes of The Sopranos.
He was the bartender, yeah.
Georgie the bartender. He's been a stand-up comedian in Boston for a long, long time, and he was nice enough to bring us at a show. I think it was one of our biggest shows.
Was this the one in Wilmington?
Yeah.
It was like over 100
200,
people.
200, there were 270 people at that show.
yeah.
A great time, a lot of fun.
I had thoughts of performing stand-up comic one time. I had material, like, especially with the job that I have and everything like that. But I'm just kind of too nervous to do it, though. I mean, but you know, I love going to comedy shows. My favorite, some of my favorite comedians are Dennis Leary,
He's
Lenny
great.
Clark.
Great, Lenny's
and,
great.
You know, Lenny's a great guy. I mean, one time I saw him at Fenway Park, and I said, "Hi, Lenny." He's like, "Steve, how you doing? It's good to see you."
That's a good
how he
Lenny
talks.
impression.
And that's a great impression. Steven, I think that you could get up there and do 5 minutes at a mic, huh?
Now, what's the strangest thing that ever happened to you guys during a show?
Chris?
Strangest thing. Thinking.
I
What about you?
I think that I remember one, this was in the North End when we both used to perform on Thursday nights at Assaggio, when we had hecklers that were, without naming names, they were actually friends of ours, people that we know personally, that would not shut up.
I think I think I remember that night.
Yeah, and we didn't have any security on staff there, so it was by the grace of God that they up and left.
I think for me the craziest show. They told me I was doing a show. I was with Vinny. We ended up going to Ayer, Mass, which is I don't even know where it is. That's how far away
I don't
it
know
was.
where that is either.
So they said, "Would you like to come and do a comedy show?" I said, "Sure." And there was no stage, there was no light, there was no mic. Everybody was playing pool. There was a DJ on stage, so it's very hard to do comedy when there's a lot of commotion going on. But I plugged away. I did my 10, 15 minutes, but I think that was probably one of the hardest.
How do you deal with hecklers? That's the thing.
Stephen, before we move on, I want to remind Christian of a show we did, which has to be the strangest show we've ever did.
Which one?
Our good friend of ours from Lynn, Mass, a guy named Joe Flynn, great veteran comedian, had us perform at a goat
farm. That's right.
A goat farm?
Yeah, people were feeding goats and they were listening.
The goats were fainting. They were hopping around every
forgot
place.
about that.
We were being heckled by sheep. It was
I forgot about that.
Oh my God, yeah. I once read Jay Leno's book, his autobiography. It was called "Leading with My Chin," and he talked about how he persevered during the Boston because he grew up in Andover, and it was a great story. You gotta read it one time. It's like great and everything. But the question I was going to ask you: how do you deal with hecklers? People like.
so. I'll tell you how I personally like to deal with them. If a quick one-liner towards them won't get them quiet, I try and just refocus and plow through with my act. I will go for that one quick one-liner to try and get them on my side. Something friendly, but with a little bit of spirit. Maybe a friendly jab. And if that doesn't keep them quiet, I just roll through.
He's a lot
with my
nicer than I am. I turn him into the enemy of the room, Stephen.
Do you change your material depending on the audience?
You have to read the room, yes. Sometimes it depends. Like there's times where I like to use profanity, unfortunately, because it's just when I deliver my joke. But in some places, I have to go clean and I don't use any profanity. Same jokes, but I no. And also depending on, we've done shows. I remember one of the first shows I did in the church. They kept saying it was church people.
Oh,
you couldn't swear.
Plymouth.
Was it Plymouth? Yeah.
The Spire Center.
And it was the first time I did a clean show. And it's funny because you after a while with your routine it becomes you know it.
Second nature.
Inside and out. Mm-hmm. So you have to watch out when it's coming. You're like,
What's your favorite type of venue to perform in?
Favorite type of venue? Smaller venues are a lot more fun. People a little bit more rowdy. The crowds are really good. I mean, we've done shows with 200 people. We've done shows with 12 people. Wow. With 200 people, it's a lot easier because you can have one side of the room laughing, so you're getting laughs. But when you're doing it in front of 15 people, it's a real test because you get to see how good your material is. And if you can make 15 people laugh, you can make 100 people laugh.
Okay, Christian, we're going to show one of your clips.
Okay.
Can you set it up for us?
Yeah, sure. The clip I sent you was, I believe it was me in Glens Falls, New York. A friend of mine who used to live in Boston called me up, and I think it was 2 minutes right after he introduced me, and I started doing impressions. I talk about how it's the United States 250th anniversary, and they were making a movie in Hollywood, and the lead part of Paul Revere was Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I can't see that. Okay, so we're going to take a look at this clip.
Yeah.
This is Christian Trotta, stand-up act.
Become a fugazi, whatever you want to call it. You all vaccinated, by the way? Nah? Anyways,
they should, they had all these celebrities, all these bullshit people saying take the vax, this and that. But I thought the best person and the only person that could have done it would have been Barack Obama. Because Barack Obama, everybody listens to Barack. Whether you like him or not, the guy's a good speaker, yeah? So Barack Obama would have been something like this. Good evening, my fellow Americans. In order for us to eradicate, we all need to vaccinate. But let me be clear, we need to stand 6 feet apart. You need to take a vaccine, maybe 2, you might need a booster shot. Listen, this is a vaccine that you can believe in. Together we can. I did that in Harvard Square, Cambridge, Massachusetts. I got a standing ovation. Same thing at St. Anthony's Feast in the neighborhood. They came after me with fucking baseball bats. I don't know if you know, but it's the commemorative 250 years of Paul Revere. They shut down all the streets in the neighborhood. Don't forget, that's where it all started. So like, trying to park is like maybe like Manhattan, just to give you an idea. But all I remember was they had legit Paul Revere go through the same route he did back in, I don't know, 1775, whatever the it was. But can you imagine if they made a movie about it and they casted like Arnold Schwarzenegger as Paul Revere? It would be insane. It would be like, come on, listen to me. The British are coming. 2 if by land, 1 if by sea. No, listen to me. Shut up, you idiot. You're whacking the horse. Come on, you lack discipline. Listen to me. The English are coming. You got to get out of here. There's a bomb in there. Get in the chopper. What chopper? Oh, my God. Funny stuff. One of my favorite holidays is Halloween. Right? Halloween's fun. And the only reason why I love it is because I go with my friends' kids as Christopher Walken. I just show up to people's doors. Hello? Trick or treat. Smell my face. Give me something good to eat. If you don't, oh no, I'll pull down your underwear. Yeah. Christopher Walken, it's amazing, sometimes I had dreams of suction cactuses and vegetation. I don't know. We're here, Glens Falls, New York. My hometown is Brooklyn. Coming from an immigrant family, that's always been fun. But growing up in Boston, it was fun, Boston's a great city. It's changed a lot. We got a new mayor.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
That was funny. I gotta ask, does Boston produce like a certain style of comedian to compare to other states in the country?
I think it's more of a wide variety now.
I think there's
never been done before, no, Rick?
Really wide variety. I mean, for the short time that we've been in it, only because I think we've been lucky enough to work with a lot of these older guys, veterans that were around. They would tell us a lot of stories about how it was compared to how it is. Now, we ventured out and got to perform with younger guys or people in their 20s coming up into their 30s and 40s. And there is a wide variety of very clever, very intense, deadpan, one-liner comedians out there that are just really, really good. And I think it's revitalizing the current Boston comedy scene.
Why do Boston audiences have a reputation of being so tough? I've always wondered about that.
I kind of think that stems from the city's history of being a really gritty and tough place, pre-gentrification and whatnot. And I think that's one of the monikers that they kind of tie into Boston comedians. And then we can look at some of them. I mean, Vinny Favorito, definitely. He's from Jamaica Plain originally, and he definitely has a reputation of being coarse to some degree.
I mean, he did get baptized as being, Don Wrinkles with venom.
You're right, yeah.
Because he was very much like, he was this guy, unbelievable.
Yeah, a great comedian that could work anywhere, an absolute genius comedic talent.
I've never seen a guy do crowd work.
Vinny Favorito.
Wow.
Nobody compares to him.
Now, you have a show coming up at the Fisherman's Feast.
Yes, we do.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So it's going to be at the Fisherman's Club on Lewis Street in the North End, and it's on June 4th at 8 o'clock. We do it monthly. And we get a lot of neighborhood people, tons of neighborhood people come to the shows, and we bring in talent from across the city. So we always have a lineup of 4 guys. Every once in a while, we'll have a guest come up and do some work. This next show is going to feature myself, Christian, a guy named Gary Bowles. He's a friend of ours from South Boston. If you ever use Instagram and check out his profile, Boy from Boston 617, he's got great content out there that he literally pumps out on the daily. And the host of the show is Nathan Boland.
That's right.
Young guy from New Hampshire that loves to support and is a really, really funny young kid.
I gotta ask you, I always wanted to ask this. What local habits or personalities inspire you with your jokes?
So,
oh wow,
what inspires the best material?
You know what? I've been inspired by, and I think Christian, this might have inspired you even more, because I know Christian's set, like he knows my set like the back of my hand.
because you've seen it your whole life on the street.
Yeah, exactly. I have to say that people that I encounter on the day-to-day, people that live in my building, people that I see in the supermarket, people that I bump into maybe 3 times a year, people that I meet on trips, whatever it is, just on the daily, those are the people that inspire me. As far as strictly Boston people, some of the neighborhood guys, people that I know from Medford or from Somerville or from Charlestown, the North End, South Boston, some of my friends out in Roxbury or in Dorchester. We're a city that's made up of neighborhoods, and there's a lot of very charming people in those neighborhoods who all have something to say. And when you listen to all of it and you put it together, you can really, really get some great ideas for comedic inspiration.
Yeah, that was, for me, it was definitely like that, because I would encounter, neighborhood people, and to me, they were characters, because the way they sounded, their voice, or if they had a lisp, or it was something about them, they had a nickname, I would just, for some reason, my mind would just go into record, and then like 10 minutes later, I would go to Rick, I'd be like, Rick, watch, I would do the impression of that person, and he would laugh, because he's like, you do it better than him. I could become that's how it started for me, doing, neighborhood people, and then, they were like, hey, listen, if you want to do comedy, you're going to have to start doing celebrities, and that's to step it up.
Christian's like a modern-day Frank Gorshin or Billy Crystal, if you want to call him that.
Frank Gorshin, the Riddler from Batman TV show. I remember him. Yeah. If I could ask some personal questions, if I could. Like, what's something people misunderstand about comedians?
That they're all traumatized.
Well, I think for me, people take comedy sometimes. So look at it this way. If you're making jokes, ethnic jokes about Italians, Indians, and Spanish, and all of a sudden you make a Mexican joke and that guy gets offended, there's something wrong. Because you laughed at the other 3, but you're now, because it hits home, it affects you. And comedy's supposed to be funny. So you should never take comedy personal, I think.
Are comedians naturally funny off stage?
Sometimes, not always. I think a lot of comedians have a persona, Rick, yeah?
For the most part, yeah, whether it's dry, whether it's exuberant. We've been in green rooms with people that were really laid back, that weren't super, super funny. But once they hit that stage, they used to say that about Johnny Carson, for example. Once he hit that stage and the curtains were drawn and the lights went up, he was a totally different person. He was built to be in front of that camera. And when the lights went down and the show was over, he was kind of to himself, even a little bit of a loner. I read, a lot of biographical clips on him, and that's how people describe him. And I think that we see that quite a bit, actually.
Yes.
Guys that are
they throw you off. Sometimes you'll see an act, and then you'll meet them. You're like, wait a minute, this guy's really calm.
I remember when Johnny Carson, if you were a stand-up comic and you went on the Tonight Show, if Johnny Carson called you over,
to the couch,
that means you made it.
Yeah.
Like Drew Carey, Jay Leno, David Letterman, they all were called over to the couch. Jay Leno ended up being the guest host and ended up hosting the Tonight Show. Now, I got to ask, does comedy help you process, difficult situations?
So,
for me, yes.
To a degree, it does for me, yeah. Definitely. I'm able to speak about things that can be annoying and put them in a comedic light. There are things, and I'm not going to get into my act right now, but I know bits of Christian's act that are his sort of personal way of getting things off his chest, and there are definitely things that I say in my act that are similar. You see something repeatedly and it doesn't go off too well. Maybe I make a joke about city traffic. Maybe I make a joke about people's buying habits in Starbucks, for example. They're things that aggravate you or might annoy you a little bit during this. So yeah, you process it that way via the joke.
Well, what keeps you motivated doing stand-up?
the ability to write, try my jokes out first on Friends, then at our shows. If I go do an open mic in between, it can be helpful because I can actually get that new joke out there and test it out and see what the reaction is. The ability to know that people are, quote unquote, hungry for new material and actually want to hear what it is that I have to say because they might have enjoyed me, 2 months ago at a show or a year ago at a show.
Yeah. What about you, Christian?
For me, I think it's like therapy. I get to get it off my chest, and the adrenaline. It's funny. People always ask me, "Do you get nervous when you get on stage?" I still get nervous to this day, Steve. Believe it or not.
I've been an actor for almost 30 years, and
I've done acting.
I still get
as
a
well.
little nervous.
Of course you do, and I think it's normal. I think it's a mixture of nervousness and adrenaline meeting at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Once you're on, I think, once you get that first laugh, then you just keep going. That's what keeps me going, the laughter.
Yeah. Okay. Now, this is for me personally. Like somebody like me who wants to be like in stand up. Like, what advice would you give someone who's afraid to get on stage? Who's afraid to get on stage?
Just do it. Just do it, because I had the same issue. I think the best advice I can give you that I gave myself was, don't look at anybody in the eye.
Don't look at anybody.
No, if you're nervous, if you're starting off, you know what I mean? Because then after a while, sometimes some people have no problem having, looking at people in the eye. Sometimes it'll happen. I'll lose my rhythm because it'll distract me. So I look out. I just don't make eye contact with specific people.
Yeah. Okay. We have I have some. This is going to be something I've always wanted a fun fast segment. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to ask you random questions and you can answer it. And okay.
Okay.
All right. I'll start with you, Ricky. Favorite Boston movie?
It hasn't been made yet.
What about you, Christian?
Favorite Boston movie? Oh, no. It's a good question. Actually, you know what? You know what's a good movie? It's The Boston Strangler with the Curtis. Anthony Curtis.
I never saw that one. My favorite is Good Will Hunting.
Great movie.
Good movie.
I was an extra on that for a long time ago.
I remember that.
I know. I'll tell you off camera what happened to me during that show, but an interesting story. Okay. Favorite local food spot?
Galleria Umberto in the North End. You can't beat their rice balls.
Mine, a lot of them closed down. Favorite local spot? You know what, Steven? I really don't have one. That's a good question. That's a tough one for me.
Okay, let's try this one. Toughest crowd you ever performed for?
Oh my God.
Oh jeez.
I think for me it was down in Brockton for the all-black crowd when I won that contest.
Chris, you just read my mind.
I think that was the toughest one for me. I was the only
we
white
both
guy
performed.
there.
No, we both performed.
Oh, that's right. You were there too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, so that was a tough crowd.
That was a tough crowd.
Okay. Best heckler comeback?
Oh, I could not say that on camera. I mean, you want this show to air, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll censor this one.
Well, just say it. We'll bleep it out.
I remember somebody yelling from the stage just like that, and he wouldn't stop with the yelling. So I asked them to quiet down. And I'm like, now I see that you get your eyes and you're yelling from your mom, just like that. So it's something that, and he shut up at that point.
Yeah. Okay. What's one comedian you'd love to open for?
Oh, I'd love to be able to open right now. I wouldn't mind opening for a guy like Lenny Clark.
Lenny's a good guy.
Lenny's a great guy.
He's a friend guy. Yeah. All right. What's the most Boston thing that's ever happened at one of your shows?
What's the most Boston thing that ever happened at any of our shows?
I think that time that a show that we worked in South Boston, we worked a show in South Boston. There were two guys that came in, and they had a little bit too much to drink.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And to get home, they had to take out an old textbook from their school to figure out where A Street was and B Street and C Street, because they had to get up to E Street. It was the craziest thing, Stephen, that you've ever seen. Absolutely the craziest thing you've ever seen. It was a wild crowd that night.
Yeah. What about you, Chris?
It's out. I don't remember that night, Rick.
I think you were one of the guys walking home to E Street.
I think one of the toughest, the most Boston thing. Well, there's a bit I do about because I like doing accents from South Boston. I I had a girl from South Boston once tell me, she's like, we don't talk like that. I go, yeah, you do. She's like, no, we don't talk like that. You sound like I'm doing from Dorchester. I go, there's not much of a difference.
It's funny because when I talk to somebody who's not from Boston, they say, "Oh, you guys from Boston? What do you say? Park your car and have a yard."
Well, I mean, it's kind of like
That's the
like
gold
in Charlestown.
standard.
You know, like in the North End, when you would say, "Hey, what's up, kid?" In Charlestown, say, "What's up, guy?" In Southie, they use kid too, but in Dorchester, it's like a mix of Southie, Dorchester. So it's everyone's. It's funny when people are trying to correct you on an accent. It's like just just watch the show.
Okay.
Buy a ticket and come to the show, and you'll see what the difference is.
Okay. What's a joke you can't believe actually worked?
A joke that I can't believe actually worked. You know what? I have to be honest with you, Stephen. I don't ever get up on stage expecting a joke not to work. I get up there and I expect them all to work, or else I don't bring them to the stage. Honestly,
That's a good answer. That makes
What about
sense.
you, Christian?
Honestly, I've never had that problem because kind of like I think if I do that, I'm setting myself up to fail.
Oh.
In that sense, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So if I go in with a negative mindset of that joke, I know I'm not gonna get laughs. I might get upset and then I might bomb. Not saying that's gonna happen, but so to avoid all that, you say it anyways, whether you get the laugh or not. But again, it goes back to what I was saying. After 3 times, if you're not getting laughs, that means it's gonna go.
What's the closest you've come to getting in trouble for a joke?
Me, nothing really.
I don't
You?
think not anything. Maybe one time, when we worked a show. It was a double show out in Springfield about 3 years ago, and it was New Year's Eve.
That's right.
Yeah, and I remember the second show, getting towards the end of the show. I typically don't
Towards
get into
midnight.
Don't get into
People
I
were
don't get
getting
into
crazy.
crowd work, but the people were going to get riled up,
were
and they had a
drinking,
couple drinks in
Steven.
them.
They were a mess.
And I made a comment to, and I never do crowd work typically, but I made a comment to one of the gentlemen sitting up in the front row. He happened to be an older gentleman, and I walked in with my Apple Watch on. I looked down at him, the joke around. I go, "How you doing, old timer?" I go, "Get out, you can Apple Watch as well." So he lifted it up, and I'm like, "Yeah, it's a Life Alert bracelet." And his son was sitting next to him, and he kind of made he was off put by that comment. That was probably the closest, but
But again, they're jokes and people, they take it
it's just to
personal.
laugh a little bit.
That's interesting. Okay. What's the biggest misconception about stand-up comedians?
Again,
I think everything a comedian says is not true. That's what I think. Sometimes people get canceled for saying certain things, that are not even true. It's just because they're trying to be funny. Kind of what happened with Matt Rife. You know him? He was he blew up. He was all over social media. He had made a joke about something about a hostess getting punched or whatnot, and they tried to cancel him because they honestly believed that the guy was a woman beater, but he was just making a joke, and it had nothing to do with his personality. And you looked at his background; he wasn't the type of guy, but he got a lot of heat for it.
I got to ask you, do you think in today's climate, I mean, we saw Stephen Colbert is going to go off the air,
Yeah.
and now we have Jimmy Kimmel was taken off the air because of something he said or whatever.
Yeah.
Do you think, is it, I've always been a big believer in free speech and all that stuff, so, I mean, do you think because of the political climate that it's harder to, say things because somebody will take it the wrong way and they'll go after you?
That, and also I think people are very biased also on these TV shows. So it's like, I remember when Jay Leno was on TV, if the joke was good, he would say it, whether it was offensive towards a Republican, a Democrat, an independent. It didn't matter. It was about the joke. But now it's more based around, if I say this, am I going to get canceled? If I say this, are they going to get offended? If I say this, what's going to happen? It's like you're walking on eggshells. So how can you be funny by walking on eggshells?
I think there was more of an attitude of acceptance on, let's say, both ends of the political spectrum 25 to 30 years ago. And that is, that window's beginning to close a little bit. And it's unfortunate because, again, we get up on stage like a lot of other stand-up comedians, like all of the stand-up comedians, to make people laugh. It's not meant to hurt anybody.
No, I just think that, we're so partisan now. Like, if you say something about this guy, how dare you? How all that stuff. And
I agree.
Agreed.
I mean, like I said, the philosophy is everything's got to be okay or none of it is okay.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
My feeling with that. Okay, I got 2 more of these rapid fire questions. How do you know when a joke is finished?
What do you mean? Like when
Like-
I know it's finished, or the person watching me.
That's a tough one.
So maybe what I think Stephen might be saying is, depending on the comedian's style, some jokes can run long, and maybe if you haven't honed the joke yet, and it's a good 7, 8, or 9 lines long, or you've told a joke, you get a laugh, then you want to add some tags to it. If they're not working, maybe it's time to wrap it up. Because again, you may get those first 2 or 3 laughs,
Yeah.
and then you want to go on and add some more stuff, and maybe look into the audience and ask what somebody feels about it, or interact with.
So you're talking about saying a joke and stretching it out and adding stuff in there?
You
Is that
got
what
it,
you're
like
saying?
diluting it. You know what I mean?
I see what you're
You
saying.
add water to wine, it becomes grape juice at a certain point.
Well, I mean, well, in my case, it would be not like that. I know I would say my joke, get my punchline out, and then if I see them laughing, I'll just add on to what I said and keep going with it.
Yeah.
Snowballing.
I think it's more
know?
more in the situation of somebody that hasn't honed the joke perfectly yet.
Yeah.
Someone that's he did it at a show, he's doing a second show, maybe now it's his 3rd show, different type of crowd, thinks he can tell the joke, and it doesn't need to be as long as he's trying to go with it. So yeah, then if you're not getting the jokes and the people look distracted or whatever it is.
Oh, I see. Okay, one last question here. Can you tell when an audience is going to be good within the first 10 seconds?
I think so, yes.
Yeah, definitely.
You could tell right away.
Definitely. We've come upon some crowds that were fired up in a good way. They were eager to laugh.
And then there was crowds that felt like they were all on Ambien.
Every single one of them.
They were sleeping. I'll never forget when I did the show. I did a show up at downtown Boston. I forgot the name of the place. You were there. What was the name of that place?
It
I
was
forgot.
not Silvertone.
Silvertone.
Yeah,
Silvertone.
Silvertone.
People were looking at me like I had 8 heads, the stuff I was saying. I had one lady, I thought, it looked like she was laughing. It looked like she was having a stroke. I even made a joke. I said, ma'am, are you okay? She goes, yeah. I said, are you laughing or are you having a stroke? She's like, no, I'm laughing.
Yeah. The kind of people that you find on the train at 1 a.m,
Yeah.
Yeah. The ones you sit 3 seats away from. I'm kind of full of those people.
Oh, yeah, I've taken the T. You got all kinds of characters on the T.
Plenty of characters on the T, yes, there is.
So what's next? You have the show at the Fisherman's Club. What else is up for you guys in the future?
Well, we got that thing with in East Boston, right?
We have
Coming up in
We're going to
a
begin
little
a
bit.
second show over in East Boston. We haven't defined the dates and whatnot, but it's going to be at the sister locale of the Cafe dello Sport, which is a place that I know you love.
I go there all the time. I
Yeah.
go every Sunday.
you?
Maybe I'll see you guys there on Sunday.
right.
Sure. It's a restaurant called Pazza on Porter, and it's in East Boston, and they have a little speakeasy next door to it, and they want to get a show going up in there, and we've already contacted a bunch of guys that we work with, some local talent, and hopefully we can get something going. We can muster up some good comedians and see if we can get East Boston laughing as well.
Do you think you guys will one day be like you'll be so big like you'll be able to perform like at the TD Garden or Fenway Park or?
I mean, if it comes, great. But honestly, I'm speaking for myself. I don't know. I just my goal in life is even like the way I am, my personality. He could tell you, I'm just looking for a laugh all the time. I want people to laugh because the hardest thing you can do in life, I think, is laugh every day.
Yeah. Carol Burnett once said that laughter comes from pain. So I mean.
Oh yeah,
So,
I agree with it. Not all of it, but some of it does.
Yeah.
Because some painful things can be very funny.
Yeah. I know.
Like a colonoscopy.
Guys, I wish you all the luck in the world with your. I can't wait. I'm going to come to one of your shows. When?
Yeah.
Do you do a show at the Cafe dello Sport on?
No, we do. No,
don't
we
do that
haven't
one.
done that show. That's another great. It's Monday and Wednesday nights at Cafe Dos, but we haven't been booked.
Maybe
or looked
soon,
to get
though.
booked. We might be.
Okay.
Soon.
So if anyone wants to contact you for gigs or anything like that, what do they do? Who do they talk?
They can check out. They can check out my Instagram page, which is excuse me, Ricky Antonellis. And then there's Christian's, which is Fantasy Wines. They can contact us, just DM us there
Your
directly.
Instagram is Fantasy Wine.
Fantasy wines, because I'm in the wine business, Stephen. That's what I've been doing for the last 22 years.
Oh, okay.
That's what I do. I import wine from Italy.
Yeah,
Do
you
you
drink
have-
enough
do you-
of it, you'll laugh at all of his jokes, Steve.
Yeah, the Italian me loves wine, so I mean.
Yeah.
But guys, I want to thank you so much for
Thank
being
you.
on
Thank you for
the
having
air.
us.
Thank you for having
I'm
us,
glad.
Steve.
So Ricky Antonellis and Christian Trotta, stand-up comics, and go check them out. we'll give you some info in the credits about their stand-up acts that are coming soon. I want to thank you guys for coming. Thank you so much.
Thank you, my friend.
You've been very good.
Thank
Been
you.
really good to me. And say hi to Lenny Clark for me, will you?
I shall. You got it, Stephen.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's mine. So that's all the time we have for the CVB show. I want to thank my guests, Ricky Antonellis and Christian Trotta. And we hope to see you next time on the CVB show. So take care, guys. Bye-bye.